What's up? Okay, awesome. I'm on night stuck. Yes. What's the story, guys? Crypto. It's great to see you all. It's amazing to be chatting to you today. Live on YouTube page, Crypto with Dini. So welcome everyone on YouTube. I'm also live on my Facebook page, Crypto with Dini. Guys, if you're new to Crypto with Dini, welcome. I am Dini. Okay, and as I always say to start all my videos, okay, my journey. Over 10 years ago, I lived in a mobile home, and I was in what I call financial ruin. Okay, and over a decade, I learned how to become an investor. I invested heavily into myself, and then I started to build up a portfolio of assets. And I got out of financial ruin, as I call it. However, although I'm talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and investing, I personally am the financial advisor. Okay, I haven't done the tests. I didn't go to the school. So please don't take anything that you hear on Crypto with Dini as financial advice. I do advise financial advisors on Bitcoin to help them understand it, and crypto markets, and I advise private individuals, and I advise businesses, but I'm not a financial advisor. So take this as entertainment purposes only, as opposed to financial advice. So it's loads of interesting news. A couple of things to run through. And I know I've been just talking about inflation over and over again. But it's because I think it's the single most important thing. And it's the reason why Bitcoin goes to six figures and then seven figures. So understanding that, you'll see, I'll talk later on about a tweet from Jack Dorsey. And he said hyperinflation is going to change everything. You see, he can see it coming too. It's crazy. It's insane. But recent news, anyway, this week, MasterCard, they're allowing Bitcoin services to all their clients. Millions and millions and millions of clients. This is insane, okay? I have my tablet here, sorry. So they're going to have Bitcoin wallets. You're going to be able to get credit and debit cards and earn rewards in Bitcoin. So rather than just getting airplane miles, which is rather, airplane miles or an asset that's going up in value? An asset that goes up in value would be much better. I better give my disclaimer about the scams. Because I can see the scammers in the comments already. Guys, remember, Crypto with Dini, I won't reach out to you saying, hi, how are you? I've got this great investment. Do you want to send me money? So please ignore scam accounts. They'll be impersonating me. Don't fall for them. It's hard enough to earn your money. Keep it. Don't be sending it to quick fix opportunities. Please just be careful about scammers in the comments. They will be impersonating me. Look, I've got a giveaway there of 140 Bitcoin. If I had 140 Bitcoin, I wouldn't be giving away. As generous as I am, I give away my information on my education, but I would not give away my Bitcoin for free. I can promise you that. And certainly not if I had 140 of them. You'll be able to earn rewards in Bitcoin. And there's almost a race on. So both Visa have done this as well, and MasterCard are making their move because they both see the Bitcoin rails, that cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. Okay, so it's their job. They have to jump on the wagon now, or they're going to be made obsolete. Think of, they don't want to become the Blockbuster. So remember when Blockbuster were ignorant to dematerialize media? Okay, they were ignorant to it because they sold physical media products, and they were ignorant to it. And we know how that played out. Blockbuster went bankrupt, and then Netflix, who were, you know, building a business around dematerialized media streaming, they're now one of the largest companies in the world. So they didn't just replace Blockbuster's market cap. They're one of the largest companies in the world. And that's the play that we're happening now. Because as important as the internet is for information, okay, we're talking about money. Everything sits on money. Every human on the planet is incentivized to try and earn money. Whether they like it or lump it, whether they're a very spiritual person, it doesn't matter. If you want to put food in your body and roof and shelter over your head, you need to chase money and understand how to get money and understand the money game. So as big as the internet was for information sharing, cryptocurrency is bigger. This thing is so big, people don't realize the effect it's going to have on our life over the next decade, okay? But so MasterCard are in the game. Visa are in the game. MasterCard in the game. Massively, massively bullish. Looking at just traditional assets versus return on investment, you know, when we size Bitcoin up, because a lot of people are a little bit afraid, oh, I'm not sure if I could allocate to Bitcoin. It's risky, isn't it? I think it's pretty obvious now that the risk is not owning Bitcoin today. Bitcoin over 1 year, return on investment, 366%. 2 years, 558%. 3 years, 868%. 4 years, 979%. 5 years, 8,900%. Like, it's insane. And people still have this attitude that it's risky and it's for criminals. It's so untrue. It's just like, you can protect and increase your purchasing power, not guaranteed, but it's worked out fairly well for a lot of us over the last few years by choosing to store some of your wealth in Bitcoin rather than storing fiat currencies, okay? Even gold hasn't performed. Gold is down 6% over last year. And if ever there was a time for gold to perform, It was in the last year. We've had massive monetary stimulus, money printing. This is what gold is made for. But it looks like the market is choosing to say, no, we're investing in the future. And the future is digital gold as opposed to physical gold. Like the future in media consumption is digital dematerialized media consumption as opposed to physical. Give me the CD, give me the video. I want to put it in my video player. Okay, so the market is deciding because the money is going into Bitcoin as a store of value as opposed to going into gold as a store of value. Gold being down 6%, which is really shocking. Even shocks me. I expect gold to do a lot better. So kind of cool. When it comes to Bitcoin, and I'm sort of just focusing on Bitcoin today because it's probably the biggest and most important asset ever in our lifetime and possibly in all lifetimes. So I think it's really important to get a good understanding of it and a good position in it and never short Bitcoin. Guys, I'm just after realizing, all right, see those guns? I got them by hitting like buttons and subscribe buttons, all right? You want to get in shape? Stretch it out. Come on. Approach the like button, approach the subscribe button. So I'm trying to build up the Irish community over on YouTube. So if you are on Facebook, get onto YouTube, give us a subscribe, Crypto with Danny, help the channel grow. There's not enough Irish voices. Ireland are being left behind. I was over at Token 2049 a couple of weeks ago, and the community in London is thriving. And guys, by building a community, the beauty of building a community is that everyone thrives, okay? In my early days of business, I thought it was me against the world. And I wanted to keep everything a secret and I want to try and build and beat everyone. But then I learned that if I work in community, if I leverage in communities, I can have more success. And everyone in the community has more success. So that's our job. That's the plan with Crypto with Danny. Build up the Irish community. And we need your help. And even if you're not in Ireland, it's like you go on holidays anywhere. Where's the best crack? A lot of the time, there's great crack in the Irish bars. So you don't have to be in Ireland. You don't have to be from Ireland to be in the Irish community. But if you want to have the crack and banter, get onto Crypto with Danny, hit the subscribe button. Hit the share button. Louis Laruski is on. Louis, what's the crack? Anyway, so if you are trying to get a position in this thing and you're like, okay, this digital store of value, how do I get in a position in it? To get more than the average Bitcoin holder right now, all you need is $4,000 worth of Bitcoin to go above average. Okay, a lot of us foresee this as being a wealth transfer as the wealth leaves the old system and starts to come into the store of value. It's not that Bitcoin is going to take away the dollar and governments are going to fail and all that stuff. It's not like that. It's that we need a store of value. There needs to be somewhere we can store value, okay? Because we're starting to see inflation. Inflation at 1 or 2% you can put up with, but the CPI level is 5%. And if you measure inflation the way they used to measure it in the 70s, the actual real inflation level is 15%. But they've sort of skewed up the numbers a little bit. I see it as, I think it was Michael Saylor explained this to me. There's two inflations. There's per person's inflation, which is around 5%. And then there's a rich person's inflation, which is somewhere around 20 to 30%. Okay, so if you want to be a per person and you only want to buy, live on McDonald's and never buy a house, maybe get a house off the government or live in your parents still, when you're 30, 40, 50, whatever, then inflation is 5%. That's pretty horrible, okay? But if you want to become a wealthy person and build up an asset portfolio, well, assets are going up 20, 30%. So that's your real inflation. It is 20 to 30%. So it's much harder than people think. And because it's so high, as much as a problem for me, it's a bigger problem for Apple, okay? They're sitting on millions and millions and billions of cash. And at those sort of inflation rates, they're seeing their cash literally burning, okay? Or a melting ice cube. I think Saylor said a melting ice cube, and it's true, okay? And that's pushed them into Bitcoin. And whatever amount of institutional interest we've seen at the moment, we're at the tip of the iceberg. It's only the beginning because they have no choice. They will have to migrate into this store of value, digital store of value asset. And if you want to become above the average Bitcoiner, you need $4,000 worth of Bitcoin, which is really, really nice. It's a low barrier to entry to go above average in this new financial system, which is crazy, crazy stuff. Let me know what you think about that. And one of the other things as well that I like is there was so much FUD, okay? Even in 2020, there was uncertainty. There was, will it be banned? Do China control Bitcoin? Even just a year ago, like this time 1 year ago, we had all this FUD, but it's all gone now. All these problems have been solved, okay? China control Bitcoin. Well, they don't because they banned all the miners. They all had to leave China. The network got more decentralized and it didn't affect the security of the network one bit. Yes, the pair dropped a little bit and it's recovered. So now Bitcoin's even more decentralized and that FUD has gone away. ESG is just, the electrical consumption of a proof of work system. Okay. All money needs to take energy to create it. The problem with our fiat money is it doesn't take energy to create it. And how the universe works, how physics works is just energy moving about. Okay. So by cheating that system, by cheating Isaac Newton's theories, okay, and just creating energy, because that is what money is. Money is stored human energy or stored energy. And just by creating that without the proper energy transfer, you cheat the system, okay? And so a proof of work system needs energy. Now, Bitcoin uses about the same amount of energy as America uses in their Christmas tree lights coming up to Christmas. So which is more important for the world? America turned on their Christmas tree lights for a month, or hard sound money that the whole civilization of the earth can get involved in that economy and not have to deal with monetary inflation and not have to learn how to become an investor, because that's the system we live in now. Everyone has to become an investor. Everyone has to learn to invest, because if you don't learn to invest, you're saving in money, which is something I did for a lot of my life. I saved in money. I saved in euros, and you're basically trying to fill a bucket full of water and there's a big hole in the bottom. And you're exchanging your time for euros, your time for money, and the energy is just constantly leaking out. It's insane. And at 3% inflation, we could suffer it. But if we're at, like, my goal is to be a rich person. I want to have the crack. I want to go out and play. I want to go surfing more. I don't have to work all the time. As much as I love work and I enjoy what I do, I want it to be optional. Okay, so my goal is to accumulate assets. And if assets are going up, if house prices are rising, 20, 30% in 1 year, and I want to own property, okay, I want to own classic cars because they're assets. I want to own property, okay? And Bitcoin is up. What's Bitcoin up? 300-400% in a year. One of the best assets to get is up. It's had a 300% inflation rate in 1 year. The game is harder. Okay, so we're getting over the energy FUD. The amazing thing about, just to finish on this, the amazing thing about Bitcoin mining is it can use energy that can't be used for anything else. So the problem with electricity is transporting it, okay? You can have a waterfall, a hydro, whatever, somewhere. But if you don't have a community of people living there and you need to transport the electricity 500 miles, it's not viable to do that. But you can go and build a Bitcoin mining rig there and use that energy that was just being wasted, natural resource energy being wasted. You can put that to work, and a country can now create these amazing, leverage their natural resources, okay, by building Bitcoin mining facilities, just like El Salvador are doing. They're going to use volcanic energy. Like, you can't go and live beside a feckin' active volcano, lads. But you can have a Bitcoin mining rig there. Okay, you can generate electricity there. So it's awesome stuff. Other things, US are going to ban Bitcoin. The US don't have a choice because the currency is devaluing so much that anyone who holds that currency, they need a safe haven asset to go into. So while the US dollar will be most likely the world reserve currency for the foreseeable future, Bitcoin will be the store of value asset, okay? That anyone who operates under the dollar standard is able to store their capital in a hard asset that can't be debased. And the reason why the government aren't going to ban it is because they told us they're not. Chairman Bell said, we are not going to ban cryptocurrencies. We are not going to ban Bitcoin. So they've literally told you that. And that's why it's gone. There's more FUD. There's always FUD. I teach this in all my workshops of FUD. Okay, they're going to tax unrealized gains. Now, that's unconstitutional, so I don't see that happening. Billionaires have massive political swing. Do you think they want their unrealized gains? And that just means before let's say if you bought Bitcoin at 10 grand and today it's 60 grand and you've a 50,000 capital gain because you bought one Bitcoin, but you haven't sold your Bitcoin. Well, they're going to want to tax you before you've sold it. I don't think that could happen. It's unconstitutional. It's written into the American Constitution. And anyway, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're not going to invest because you think they're going to want to take tax on your profits. So you're going to say, right, I'm just going to lie down in front of the train instead and do nothing. It's crazy. You can't do that. What else? El Salvador. El Salvador's been a roaring success so far. It's been amazing. Bitcoin is used by criminals. More FUD. It's just like, it's not used by criminals. It's a permanent immutable blockchain that's there forever and ever and ever. Why would a criminal choose to put a permanent record of their crime that no one can ever change? They'll use cash. They'll use dollars. They'll use euros. That's what criminals have always done. That's why the banks get fined millions and millions and hundreds of millions, even billions, I think, for allowing criminals to launder money through their system, through the fiat system. And there's so much other FUD that we've just got over. Another one was there'll never be an ETF. There is an ETF. Okay, there is an ETF now. Bitcoin is being legitimized in America, where the vast majority of capital sits, and there's now an ETF to allow huge money to flow in. And people look at the price of Bitcoin day to day, and I teach them, don't look at the price of Bitcoin day to day. Think in Satoshis, okay? Think in Satoshi value rather than euro value, rather than dollar value. And my plan B, okay, for the next couple of years is to accumulate as much Satoshis as I can. I didn't come to Bitcoin 5 years ago and be able to buy Bitcoin at €1,000. I didn't understand it then. I didn't need to. I was too busy building my own businesses and earning money and not understanding the system and basically being foolish. But it took me this long to learn this. Well, not this long. So my goal is to keep accumulating. So every month when I get paid my wages from my various businesses and my assets, I save some of my wages in Bitcoin. I save it in Satoshis because I'm saving in an asset that's appreciating in value as opposed to saving in euros, which is an asset that's depreciating in value. Its purchasing power is depreciating. Now, here's an interesting concept, and I'll just log on to this. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, and please ignore the scammers there on Facebook. That's why I'm trying to transition more to YouTube. I'm actually live on YouTube here at the minute. And more of my lives, I think I'll go on YouTube because it's harder for people to get, for scammers to be direct messaging people on YouTube. So if you're not on YouTube, I've filmed exclusive content about my trip to London. That's going out to our newsletter people and will be on the YouTube. It's a really good video. It's a really good insight to behind the scenes, what's going on in this space. This was a high ticket event I was at. It was £1,000 sterling to get in. For me, that's a high ticket. Mightn't be for you, but for me, that's a high ticket. Okay. And the insights I got were really invaluable. So I'll be sharing some of that on that YouTube video, but you've got to be on YouTube to do it. So Crypto with Dini, jump on, give us a subscribe, help the Irish community. But an interesting concept. I heard Greg Foss. This is a Canadian trader, and for I shouldn't say old man, but he's probably in his 50s, late 50s, 60s. I'm an old man now, trying really in my 40s, but he gets it. He really understands it. And I heard him saying with the idea of, like, why are countries who are selling their natural resources, like Russia, they're selling them for dollars. They're trading their natural resources for an asset that's just gone down in value. So how Bitcoin becomes a world reserve asset is they go, well, hold on. Why are we trading for dollars when we can sell our natural resources for Bitcoin instead? Because this seems to be an asset that's appreciating in value. Now, that mightn't happen for a couple of years, but eventually they're going to figure it out, just like El Salvador figured it out, okay? Because the dollar is inflating. We have unprecedented inflation rates right now. And that means the game has to change. So all the rules, even your traditional investing portfolio, the 60-40 rule that we used for decades, is broke now. Ray Dalio has said, no, that's broke. Paul Tudor Jones has said, no, that's obsolete. That doesn't work anymore. And they're trying to work out what is the new investing strategy, because the old way doesn't work. Bonds don't work anymore. They're yielding negative. And there's 200 trillion in the bond market. If 1 trillion of that comes into Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price goes up in many multiples. Okay, you add a zero to it. What if 2 trillion of the 200 trillion comes in? What if 5 trillion of the 200 trillion comes in? What if over the next decade, the whole 200 trillion that's in bonds comes into the Bitcoin network? This is what we call capital changing systems. Slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantly. But one of the politicians in America now has even mentioned it, like, Bitcoin becoming a world reserve currency. It doesn't have to. All it has to do is become digital gold for you to value Bitcoin, 500,000 plus. Okay, so it doesn't even have to, but it may and it couldn't. It more than likely will. Because when you look out there, when you look at the macro environment of what we're living in, what we're experiencing, like, what else is there? There's no other store of value that competes with Bitcoin. It's the greatest store of value, the greatest savings technique, savings system that we've ever had in our lifetime. More bullish news. It's just like last year, and I've been saying, last year, if we had one piece of news like we get weekly here, every week there's massive bullish news. Okay, but if we got one of them last year, Bitcoiners would have been high-fiving each other, cheering and going, "No, I told you, it's coming." Now it's just massive capitulation. It's just bullish news after bullish news. David's jumping onto YouTube. Thanks, David. Give us a like on YouTube and hit the subscribe button. That's awesome. But the FDIC chair says that the agency, sorry, I'm just looking at my tablet here, is focused on developing clear guidance for banks and crypto activity and stablecoins. Okay, so they're not trying to ban it. They're trying to create guidance and regulation around this thing because they know it's not going anywhere. Banks want to be able to custody Bitcoin, and they're now working on the regulation to allow banks to custody Bitcoin. I have a tweet here from Michael Saylor. It says, when large US banks are able to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Everyone will want to buy it. No one will want to sell it, and you won't be able to afford it. And that's why I've been banging the Bitcoin drum for almost 2 years now. Crypto Athena has been teaching people about this thing. Before we had our run up, before we had the massive rally, I've been teaching people, they're inflating the currency supply. You got to buy Bitcoin. But that's the inevitability now. Here's where we're at. By the time, and I'll give you a snippet of what I learned over in London. Only if you hit the like button for me. Give it a nice strong press. But I was talking to Italy. Okay, now Italy is the head of European Citibank. Citibank are, I think, the largest asset manager in the world. Okay, so listening to this guy called Italy, I can't remember his second name off the top of my head, but listening to Italy speak was a massive privilege. Okay, to actually be in a room listening to this man speak live. And they are not sleeping on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They are very focused on what's happening. They are putting the pipework in place so that when there's regulatory clarity around it, they're ready to go. Okay. And here's your turbo tip. Dinny bomb, James. Yeah, Dinny bomb. So Italy said, one of the questions from the crowd was something along the lines of when. And because banks' security model is security and reputation, it has to be 110% regulatory clarity. And as Italy said, he has a personal position. I'm paraphrasing him. He has a personal position in crypto because he thinks that by the time the banks have everything in place, a lot of the upside are gone. It is gone. And that's why I'm teaching people. We can move faster. We as individuals, it's amazing. We don't have the restrictions. We don't have the regulations. We can just go tomorrow, log on to Coinbase and buy some Bitcoin, buy $4,000 of Bitcoin, and you're now above the average worldwide Bitcoin holder like that. You don't have to do anything else, just to sit there. So it's pretty awesome. We need to allow banks to hold Bitcoin, says the FDIC chair. So this is what the regulators are saying. We need to allow banks to hold Bitcoin. This thing isn't going anywhere. Our currency is leaking value, and that's not likely to stop. So our economy, our market, everyone, they need a store of value asset. So we need to put regulation around it so we have our currency, so we're able to debase our currency to keep our economy floating and get the GDP where we need it, because we've no choice now. We can't stop printing money, but we also need a savings vehicle. Otherwise, we're just making people poorer, okay? So it's amazing to hear all this bullish news. It's really, really cool. It's really, really interesting. There's talk of a billionaire tax. Now, I don't think that's going to work because I know some wealthy people. I've consulted with them through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and wealthy people, they don't really pay tax. Okay, they don't pay as much tax. Us, the normal people, pay most of the tax. That's just the way the system works. Wealthy people understand how to leverage the system. Okay, they use trusts, and they use companies and corporations and all this sort of stuff to be tax efficient. They're not doing anything illegal. They just have really, really high quality tax advice that they can put structures around everything and trusts around everything and defer taxes and all this sort of stuff legally. So it's the normal people who will pay the tax. But if they go after the billionaires, they have massive clout with politicians. You know, they can lobby them. So it's also unconstitutional. So it's not something that I worry about. It's not really a concern for me. What's more of a concern for me, I'm like, what's the problem right now? You know, I'll give you an example. Okay, I have a fitness business. Early in the days of my fitness business, I used to be like, oh, Jeannie, I only have so much. I've only room for 20 people. What if I get 30 people in the gym? Where am I going to put them? And I was like, Dinny, you've 10 people there now. What are you worried about that? Or like, worry about the present. Your worry should be, how do I get 30 people? And then solve that problem when it comes. So another example of that is people go on about, oh, tax on cryptocurrency. What if I owe loads of tax? I'm like, if you owe loads of tax, you made loads of money. That's an amazing problem to have. Right now, if you don't owe any tax, well, you didn't make any money. So it's a bad problem. So focus only on good problems. But so what I focus right now on, Elon Musk even is talking the strong inflatory pressure. Okay, can't even say the word. And it looks like Tesla are going to start accepting Bitcoin payments again. Why? Because they need to start accepting an asset that's going up in value to help them, because their cash pile, okay, their reserves, their treasury is going down in value. And yes, they did convert 1.5 billion of it to Bitcoin already, and that seems to be one of the best trades they've ever done, because I think it's now worth over 3 billion, and $1 billion is a lot, which is way more than they've ever made by making cars. Okay, so it's a problem for Tesla, and they're speaking about it. It's a problem for every single company in the world. European Central Bank have printed more money than the Fed in America. So we have the inflation. I know I always quote Fed numbers because that's sort of the data that's easier to get. But the EU is exactly the same. We're in as much trouble as them. But like the inflation numbers are liable to continue. Okay, so it's just pushing people, and the fact that Tesla, they've confirmed that they are going to, they've put in filing in with the SEC that they want to start accepting Bitcoin again, and that just, it's the writing on the wall for me. Some people need to wait till Bitcoin is valued at $1 million before they'll buy it, and everyone will buy and own Bitcoin, because anyone who's gone down the rabbit hole, anyone who's put the time into understanding the asset, they own the asset. That's just the way it is. There's no one who's put the time into the asset that doesn't do a full 180, even if they're a massive bear, unless they're old. For older people who can't understand digital value, but that's okay. They'll have to die, unfortunately, and their money will go to their kids who already understand. Take Peter Schiff, for instance. He's an absolute Bitcoin bear. Max Kaiser was telling him to buy Bitcoin when it was $1, okay? And he still won't buy it. But his son is a massive Bitcoin bull. His son gets it. Now, I speculate that that's his advertising mechanism, and he really owns Bitcoin already. Like, you can't be that stupid to not own it. Even if you think the asset is terrible, it's still obvious that the asset is going to go up in multiples over the next decade. So even as a trade, as a swing trade, you'd buy the fucking thing. And our inflation numbers, like America's 5%. As I say, that's per people's inflation number. Okay, and if you want to be a per person, you're suffering 5% inflation, which compounds, and I think you lose half your wealth over a decade at 5%. But really, it's 20%, it's 30%, it's 100% for some things. So scary stuff, and just driving people into Bitcoin, and those who understand it, I think you're at the right place at the right time. Guys, hope you enjoyed today. If there was some Dinny bombs, let me know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, let me know what the audio was like, because I'm testing out. Mic check, Michael check. Let me know what the mic is like. Facebook user just on the Samsung mic, but it's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. But let me know about the mic check there. Michael check. Then you know. I hope you had fun today. If you need help building a strategy, if you help understanding the asset and how to build an actual retirement plan in the asset, as opposed to just making a couple of grand, build an actual retirement plan so you can work for fun, and you don't have to if you don't want it. That's what I think crypto, that's what I know crypto is. And I think the opportunities over the next 5 to 10 years are absolutely insane in this asset. It's going to change the world as we know it. The more I learn about it, the more you understand it, the more of an inevitability, and there is no other option. There's no other way this can go. Yes, there'll be volatility. There'll be a lot of volatility, just as there has been. But I've been a crypto investor for a couple of years, and I've already suffered volatility, and I understand how to manage the volatility in the asset. And I understand that's the volatility that creates the financial freedom. Okay, most people don't get that, especially if you're a property investor or an equities investor, or you've just never invested in anything before. And that's why it takes unique coaching around how to allocate, how to invest, and how to build your positions in cryptos. Guys, it's been good fun here. I hope you have a super Wednesday. And if you haven't done your daily exercise, get out for a walk. But hit the like button or the subscribe button or the thumbs up button. You just hit something. You stretch out the fingers. And all my Facebook people, it'd be awesome if you jumped over and gave us a subscribe on YouTube, because all the subscribe help the algorithm, and all the comments help the algorithm. So if you're having fun, if you're learning, if you enjoy the lives, stick a comment in. It'll be absolutely awesome. And I'm looking forward to getting that video out to our newsletter subscribers tomorrow about my time in London, and it will be going out on YouTube also probably on Friday. Guys, you're at the right place at the right time, and you're doing the right thing. You're taking action. You're doing something for yourself. You're becoming a sovereign individual. You're learning how to invest. It's awesome. And you're having a bit of crack too. So have an amazing day. It's great to see everyone. I'm delighted to have you on here with me. And for 30 minutes, thanks for your attention. Like, it's pretty awesome. I'm hopefully got some value. Have an amazing day. I look forward to chatting to you all soon. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Crypto with Dini, Instagram, Crypto with Dini, Twitter at Dini Collins, YouTube, Crypto with Dini, and jump on our website. Get on my newsletter, cryptowithdini.com. Get my 5 things to know before you buy Bitcoin, and you're on the newsletter. Guys, have an amazing day. Thanks for being here. And Dini out. Cheers, guys. Your stream will not stop immediately. You will no longer. Yeah, let's end it. We're done.